that's just the truth of it.
Okay. Anybody else comment, Apostle? Or
I would ask the question, what, because as I stated before, every relationship is different, and you have to know what you have. You have to know the personality of your husband, and of your wife. You have to know their personalities in order to effectively communicate with them, or in order to know how to effectively communicate with them. If you don't know, if you know that first of all, like if you have an alpha female and a male who is not an alpha, that may get along, y'all may be fine. But if you have two alphas in one cave, y'all gonna be fighting a lot. So I think for you, Tina, if he is a kind of a laid back, and if you knew this going into the relationship, I wouldn't suggest trying to change him. I would suggest, to know him and to know how he responds to you. One thing I would say for a man, and I think if I'm incorrect, you let me know. And everyone needs it, but I think for a man, his ego has to be stroked. And that's just, I think it's something in our DNA where we love affirmation. We love to hear, how well we did something. We love to hear, we love to hear that we are the Tarzan, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And I think that goes a long way. Again, I wouldn't suggest trying to make him the head if that's not his personality, and that it may not be. I'm sure if that's the case, it didn't start with him. Right. There's something along that lineage, that's in there to where a woman was the dominant role figure, and he and then I don't know, and it may have skipped a generation. We don't know, but there's something there to where he is just he's not that king. But just make sure, I would say, that he knows that he's your man. He may not be that king that you want him to be, so to speak, that take charge, type of person. I wish I could kind of go a certain route with it, but I won't. But
well, I will.
Well, I'll say this. For instance, I was never like a take charge. Back in the, how can I put this? I was always like a trash talker. I would talk a lot of trash, but I would never be the dominant person with regard to intimacy. And that's just, I just never was, I would like for the woman to have that kind of role. Mm-hmm. And that was a source of contention with my wife and I, because she was the type that liked to be dominated, and I was the type that liked to be dominated, but in the bedroom. And so I would be waiting around for her to make the move. She's waiting around for me to make the move, and everybody goes to bed frustrated, know. And so we had to have a conversation about this, and that's something that because I'm the head, I had to really work on. But at the same time, her knowing that, she worked on that side, knowing me. So it's goes back to what you were saying, Bishop. It's back and forth. It's give and take, and it's understanding your mate, knowing whatever they lack. It's like love covers that. You know what I mean? Don't try and step into that role because that's like Portia said, that's out of order.
Right.
But just make sure that he knows that he is your man, and be his woman.
That's right.
That would be my my suggestion.
Warren, Andy.
That's good.
Yeah, that
was great.
I applaud that. And I could, as Apostle was talking, mm-hmm. It brought me back to a place where I felt like I wasn't the king. Mm-hmm. in the king's role, if you will. But my wife loved me through that. She didn't say, "But you're not doing this or you're not doing that," she just loved me through that. She still assured me, and just as Apostle said, stroked my ego to assure me, "You are the man of this house. I love you, and I know." And that encouraged me to get up, to be better, to do better, and not harp upon me of my shortcomings, but love me through my shortcomings, and it built me. So, and just as Apostle said, and we don't know the dynamics, but which of the relationship that Tina has, but just to know that, acknowledge where he is, but still encourage him to move forward.
Any comment?
No, he's right, because I was thinking at the same time, you know, trying to figure out who we were in the relationship during the same time you're talking about. And, you know, things were happening in our life, and you were in a state of depression. I think you said, they said manic depression during that time. And I just kept on doing what I was supposed to do, what the Bible told me to do.
Sure.
And he was quiet, but I kept on doing those things. When he came from work, the food was done, the house was clean, the kids were clean, everything was in order. When it came for time for us to be together, as angry as I was on the inside and not feeling socially connected, I did my part.
Right.
And then he came up, and I kept on stroking his ego. That is so vitally important. You know, keep telling him, because relationships, well, it goes all the way back to our upbringing. Right. People can break you down, and then past relationships have broken you down. You know, so when you get another person in that place, you expect the same thing. Right. You expect them to beat you down. You expect them to say you're never good enough, you're not doing enough. And so when you do the opposite, you're reaffirming that person, and you're filling their love tank. And that's what we end up doing, filling each other's love tanks.
So the wives have said it correctly. I'm gonna keep it real nice, Apostle, because you know how I am. Ladies, just stroke the ego. You know how to stroke. Just stroke it. I tell you. Now, I'm gonna keep it nice, Apostle. You know how my mind works.
I'm all right.
when a woman first starts stroking, it's flaccid. It ain't working. Hello, somebody. But when a woman keeps stroking, it stands. It stands to attention. So I'm telling women all over the world, just keep stroking. Just now, I'm still talking about stroking the ego.
I know, but what if she doesn't find it in herself enough?
Keep stroking.
What if the woman is not there, that she's been so maybe torn down that she can't find it in herself because she's empty of trying to take on the two roles?
So I will tell a woman, then you focus on what's going right. Something's going right. Something that he does. Point that out. Again, stroke that bad boy until it is enlarged, and stroke his ego until it's enlarged. Then you say, you know what? Wow, I can open up a can of tuna. What else can I open? Right. Just stroke the man. Oh, I can open up tuna. Maybe I can do this. I mean, but again, what the enemy does, right?
You got him going, Portia.
Come on, baby, say what you gotta say. He in his own head, guys.
Okay, he's zoned out now. He's gone.
He's out.
Control.
Eagle has left the building.
I know, right?
Oh, sorry. So all I'm saying is that the enemy, if not careful, will have you focus on the negative. And nothing. I said in Bible college today, I say you can either focus on the problem. I guarantee you this: you focus on the problem, you'll never find a solution. No. And while a lot of women may do, I'm focused on the problem. No. What is the solution? What gets him going? If he loves football, ladies, that's a very easy answer. Where is favorite football jersey, nothing but high heels, ask him to do anything, I guarantee he will do. Because now you've tapped into his source. You're tapped into what interests him. Warren, I saw that smile. You tapped into it, and then you get better. So really,
but what if it's deeper than that? What if it's not that surface thing? Like what does she do?
Okay. Then spiritually, that's when prayer, and then.
But what if she prayed? What if she prayed?
Okay. So all right, let me jump in here. Let me jump in here. There was my wife and I were doing some kind of like therapeutic counseling, right? And the conversation was just going, everything was fine. And the counselor said, he said, Terry, I want to tap into you. I want to talk to you. I hear a lot, with Mary. And he just started asking me to tell him about, this area, like years ago, and he asked me to tell him about, my time in the Army and then time in the state police, yada, yada. And what came up was I felt as though I would get to a certain stage at every point in each career and it would get cut short. And I had never realized that, you know what I mean? Like I never realized what was happening internally until the right questions were asked, until I was made to go back and talk about just nothing general, not talk about, just tell me about this and tell me. And when I started to talk, the light bulb came on, and it was like, wow, this got cut short, that got cut short, that got cut short, which explained why I would have these feelings of being a failure. Now people may say, you a failure? What do you mean? Like I graduated high school at 17. I went into the Army. I was there for 5 years, right? I left that after 5 years. I went into the State Police Academy. I did that for 24 years. I was still in the Army at that time. I became a sergeant and then a station commander within the state police. I was on the SWAT team. I rose in the ranks of the Army, and that all looks good from the outside looking in. But within all of that, there were crucial pivot points that were cut short, that got lodged in here, right, and made me feel like a failure in life. And my wife couldn't understand that. And I didn't realize that. It was not until, I began to speak about those things.
Right.
And so, you talk about, well, what about if this? Sometimes you have to ask them to tell me about your childhood, because sometimes it just needs to come out. Yep. Man and woman, sometimes that stuff has been suppressed so long. I told my wife, I said, a lot of times people are still fighting, not realizing that they're not in the war anymore. You know what I mean? Like in many wars, there were soldiers that were still fighting that didn't get the memo that the war was over.
Right.
And so they're still fighting. And that happens in relationships. Sometimes in your mind, you're still fighting, you're not realizing that, hey, you're not that little girl anymore. You don't have to attack anymore. You don't have to defend anymore. You don't have to do this anymore. You don't, because you're safe now, but it doesn't come out sometimes until you just really talk about it step by step, because I certainly didn't know. Like I'm telling you guys, I broke down when I was in my my previous marriage. The reason I retired from the state police in the first place, because the marriage was so toxic, and that was my way out. But I cut my career short.
Got it.
I see all of my buddies who are colonels and at the top tier of the state police now, but I had to cut myself short because I was in toxicity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even with the Army, so I had to cut that career short because I had to put out so much money going through the divorce. And so I had to leave that, and for them to give me a certain amount of money up front to so it was just cut and cut and cut.
Yeah.
Yo, I did not realize what was going on the inside until I was made to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it's just, hey, tell me about, just walk me through it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, so that would be, I don't want to say the short of the long.
No, you make a lot of sense. And what I do, we call it, we have a lot of wounded warriors within us.
Yeah.
So you have, speaking about it all, I think, with Tina's situation as well, there's a lot of wounded warriors that are inside.
Correct.
It gives you enough to keep going. But as you said, Terry, I'm so glad it came out of your mouth to say it, because women, I think we believe in it. We would sit with people quickly. But for a man, you have to sit with those wounded parts and really get to know those parts for them to be set free.
Yeah.
August Wilson says it best, to sit with your demon, sit with your demons so that they can sing like angels. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to do it.
Yeah. We're celebrating Juneteenth today. And as we all know, Juneteenth was a celebration of the slaves in Galveston, Texas, that got the news 2 years later, they were free after the Emancipation Proclamation. 2 years later, and also 1 year within making the 13th Amendment appointed. So again, there are a lot of people who are wounded or enslaved to past issues that they've never been set free from. And so they bring that spirit or that contamination into their marriage, and then they find out all these issues, that understanding that there's something deep within me. So what the enemy does is that the enemy makes you point at your spouse, when in actuality, it's you. There are things within you that have to be healed. There are things within you that have to be reconciled. Because upon doing that, now you can move accordingly. But until that's reconciled, you'll always be in that same place. Warren, Annie, wrap this thing up soon.
But as well as things within the other person. So sometimes, women could say, you know what, he gives me no responses at all.
Yeah.
But that is what it is. It's a total shutdown. Like, it's kind of barricade. The person has barricaded themselves from life itself.
Right. Annie, Warren, this is good, people. We're almost done.
Well, with my true life story, during the time when Warren was actually like that and going through his depression and job changes and all that, and me owning my beauty salon, very busy, very profitable and all that. And we were building a house during the same period.
Wow.
And so my dad was building the house, so he would come by the salon, get a couple $100 for different supplies and stuff. And Warren was between jobs. And so I'm feeling I'm at the greatest level in my life. My beauty salon is right down Russell Street downtown. It's across from 2 colleges. I have to turn away people because I was well sought after. Yeah. And so I'm thinking this is a great time for my business. My dad is building our home. The only thing he's charging us is for supplies. So I'm thinking this is a great time for us. And I'm rejoicing within myself, and he's dying within himself. Yeah. Because during this time, he had a job shift. He's not working, but I'm making all this money, more than enough for us. So I'm thinking we're one. But I knocked him out of position. I knocked him out of his place. Right. And I didn't realize, I thought, well, babe, this is ours. And when we finish our house is paid for, we're excited about this. But I didn't realize I pushed him out of his position. Mm-hmm. And by pushing him out of his position, not knowingly, not wanting to, however, he said to me later that he didn't find his significance. Because I was doing all of this, not that he didn't want to do, but he was just in that, that valley place. Yeah. He was in that valley experience. Absolutely. And during that time, I'm on top of the mountain and I'm celebrating. I'm shooting out all this money building this house, my business, building my business
Right.
and all that. And he was dying inside because he was out of place. And he said years later, you know, he would preach about it. And he said, the thing, kudos to me because I stayed the test. You know,
Yeah.
I kept looking at him like the king. I kept doing everything for him and with him, even when he didn't want to. When he wanted to argue, I stepped back. And all of these things, but he was dying because he couldn't find his significance during that stage.
Sure.
No, absolutely. I mean, you said it just right because, like I said, at the time I was trying to find myself at the same time and losing who I was all at once, and it was, and I thank God for my wife because, like I said, even at one time I felt that she was leaving me behind because of all of everything that was going on.
Wow.
But at the time, that wasn't her heart. But I allowed the enemy to speak to me, to saying, "Well, she's taking over. You know, she's taking your spot. This is where you should be." But and it wasn't like that. But I just had that in my head, and she loved me through it, and we worked through it. It was rough. It was a rough patch, but we worked through it.
You know, that's again, that's the alignment that works. Last week when I did comedy at my father's church, and I'll never forget, after I finished, my wife was rubbing my back. She's just rubbing my back the whole time, and she said she didn't even recognize she was rubbing my back, but it was a point of that connection. You know, that I didn't ask for it; she just did it. Why? Because again, is keeping your husband and your wife, your king and queen, on their throne. See, that's where we get into trouble, is that we allow the enemy to kick each other off each other's throne. But here's the key. If I kick you off your throne, then I kick you off my throne. Because we're one. You understand that? So now we are having issues of not keeping each other on each other's throne. So that's a very powerful point. So great time, people. Let's go over some announcements. It's 8:16. We're a little bit over, but we're glad that we let Apostle come in and talk to us. He did a little stripping there. He took off his hat, and I was hoping he didn't take off his shirt. Praise the Lord. But he started stripping. So thank you, Apostle. All right.
My wife just texted me. She said to go ahead and take it off.
Warren, Sally, any announcement you want to share with us? Go ahead.
No, I don't have any.
Get out. Warren, Sally, any comments? Any announcement you have?
Just giving homage to everyone here until returning homes and for her safe travels when she gets back. But I just want to, just thank God for all of the listeners and for the people commenting, and we pray that their situations get that they can take the information that they have and our experiences and make their situations better.
Amen. Annie?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Apostle Terry, that's got to sleep. Any comments, sir?
Yeah, I want to go back to Tina real quick, and I just want to kind of just reiterate and caveat on what you said. There's something good, you know what I mean, and just concentrate on that good. There's a segment in a resiliency program that I went to. I went to Master Resilience School, and it says to hunt the good stuff.
Wow.
So
that's good.
And this program was designed for soldiers who had come back from Afghanistan and Iraq wounded and who had experienced some horrific things. And one of the things that we were taught to teach them to do is to find something good about whatever, you know, find something good, and focus on that. Look for something good in whatever. So I just want to encourage my sister Tina, you know, to whatever area stands out in a good way, just begin to build that up, as Bishop Brantley was saying. Just begin to stroke that, and you, over time, it's not going to happen overnight. It may not happen overnight.
Right.
You know, don't look for a quick change.
Right.
But if you just keep building up, whatever you feed will grow. You know.
Oh, that's good.
So, do that, and you'll see some changes. Without pointing out the flaws, build up the stuff that you already see that's good in him. So I just wanted to encourage my sister with that.
Baby,
any announcements they have?
Yeah. Any announcements you guys have?
Mary's doing a lot, right?
Mary, any announcements at all? Warren?
No, Terry.
Oh, Terry, you have any announcements at all?
No, we're just praying for a safe return. My wife, she's on the move. I think we've been on a plane, and now it's stopped for me this week, like every weekend this month. And she'll be back on the plane again next weekend, and just doing great things. So we're praying for her. And,
we know her. We're famous. We know her. All right, baby, you have any announcements?
No, dude.
All right, so we have an announcement, and hang on.
Oh, I do. I just wanted to say thanks to all of the listeners. Thank you guys for logging in and watching. We know that it's been like a long time that we've been like sitting here. So thank you guys for your patience. We hope as well that you take away something from all of it. And if there's anything that anyone needs, please reach out to either three couple. We are available for you guys, and we're here for you and to listen out for you guys and to help you along your journeys.
All right, here's our announcement. Hang on, see if I can play this right here. Hang on. We'd like to announce we open up our 5th counseling coaching office in Connecticut.
Wow.
And, that's our announcement. All glory to God. All glory to God. That's our Bridgeport office that my wife designed. All this stuff you saw, she designed it. And so now we'll have an office in Bridgeport as well. And we give God glory and honor for that as well. So that's our major announcement. And our grand opening is on July 10th.
So if you guys want to come out, so what's happening is Tim is joining me. I've always had a Bridgeport office, but now Tim is joining me, and we're doing the reopening of us together as opposed to just me by myself. So we're doing we have a soft opening now. We're actually seeing clients there now, and we're having the grand reopening on July 10th, and we're going to kick that off with some parts work unburdening meditation. So if you want that, please contact us. You can call the number of 475-242-8179, or hit us up here, go on our websites, look up our emails, hit us up in Messenger. I will be doing the unburdening meditation. I have about 20 years of grief unburdening meditation, which is a very large part of my practice. Some people do not want parts work itself. However, they do want the unburdening meditations, and they are very, very powerful. So if you guys want to do that, I will be doing that from 8 until 9. And after that, we'll have the just a drop in where you can come in for 5 or 10 minutes, sit and chat with us. We have refreshments, and you'll be seeing
Black people. We have food.
We'll have refreshments, and we'll be seeing. You'll see the both of us in person, and you get to just visit us in our Bridgeport office and just sit with us and chat it out with us and take a refreshment and and tell your friends. Take some brochures, and that's it.
All right, people. Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back in July. Lord said the same, and we'll come up with that date. So Annie, Warren, Terry, Portia, thank y'all. Mary, we thank you too.
Yes, we miss you, Mary.
Mary, please come back because Terry can't take it too much longer. You know how he is. All right. God bless you guys until next time. Peace.
Take care, guys.
All right.